Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, this weekend was filled with craziness and excitement and drama, at least in the political world. Political pundits were just going insane and losing their minds. People online screaming, crying, all because one person supposedly passed away on Friday, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm sure you all are very well aware of it. And it's like watching people's brains explode because now there's a vacant seat on the Supreme Court. Now I'm going to do my best to try not to fall victim to this left-right, I said left with my right hand, left-right paradigm that we all know is fake. Okay, it's all the same. It's all just a game that they're trying to do they're playing to distract us and to get us at odds with each other. So we're going to do our best to try to steer away from that and kind of dig into it a little bit and see if, well, is this a good or a bad thing? Not that her passing away is ever good or bad. And forget about what she stood for. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the current situation. So don't get me wrong. While you're at it, if you wouldn't mind clicking the thumbs up like button and subscribing to the channel, I would sure appreciate that. So, as we all know, apparently she supposedly died Friday. I'm not sure I totally believe that. I've seen plenty of indication that she may have actually passed away much earlier, possibly even last year, but we'll not go into that today. And so it's left a seat vacant. And for those of you that haven't heard or that haven't really thought through this, the reason why her seat now vacant is such a big deal and why the left and the right are exploding. It's not because, you know, I understand getting another conservative on the high court would be good. The potential, the possibility to overturn Roe v. Wade, things like that. But we're talking about right now or in the very near future, because how they're playing this out in their minds. If Donald Trump and Joe Biden come November 3rd, if they're not able to determine who the winner is, or at least enough that satisfies the country, because I'm sure the media is definitely going to be on their game of trying to just cloud up the truth, because that's what they do. It's like they're just stirring up the pot so that it gets murkier and murkier. But between the mail-in ballot voting, just all the push to not have voter IDs laws, and then also on the left that there's been many, and we've talked about this before, that there's been several actually quite prominent, Hillary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Kamala Harris, a few others have said that Biden should not concede to Trump regardless of what the outcome is, that they're not going to give up, that they won't accept the outcome, all that kind of stuff. So, and then you've got Facebook, the head of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and a few other people of, noteworthiness, I guess, that are basically saying that they're already anticipating that the vote count could take weeks, maybe even months. And so assuming that that's all going to happen, which we've talked about here before, what is going to end up happening most likely is it's going to end up going to the court. And for those of you that's old enough to remember, George W. Bush and Al Gore, the big Florida debacle, the hanging Chad that ended up going to the Supreme Court, and basically the Supreme Court determined who was the president. That is what a lot of people have anticipated happening this time around. Except now you only have 8 people on the court, and it's very possible that it could be evenly split, a 4-4 vote. And if that happens, it creates a constitutional crisis. And from my understanding, if it goes to the court and they cannot decide, then it goes back to the House of Representatives. And then they decide. And of course, the House of Representatives is run by the Democrats. There's a little bit of debate on how that was handled. I'm not sure, at least to my understanding and my research, that it's ever happened that way before. And so I believe that is one of the reasons why the Democrats are wanting this. They're wanting it not to be filled because they want it to go down that path, because they feel if they can get it into the House of Representatives, which the left controls, then they have a much better chance of controlling the outcome of the election. And of course, the flip side is the Republicans know this, and they understand it too, and so that's why they want to hurry up and get someone placed in there. And you know what? To me, it's not whether the left or the right are correct. I think anyone looking at it objectively, of reading the law, reading the Constitution, would have to admit that according to the Constitution, the president has an obligation up until the last day of his presidency to fill that seat. It says shall, not may, that the president shall fulfill that seat. And even Ruth Bader Ginsburg back in 2016 said that the president's job does not stop in his last year of presidency. I mean, he's the president up until the next person takes office. And so he does have an obligation, really, to fill that seat. But here's the thing, and that's the about. I'm going to try that to be the only thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to politicalness, the politicalness of this topic. What we do need to focus on is, number one, the Democrats are already pledging lots and lots of violence. The left. I have seen probably, I would guess, 200 or 300 posts on Twitter of people on the left claiming that they're going to just burn everything down. And they're not just regular people. There's been some people in prominence. There's been a CNN reporter, an ABC News reporter, a few other people on that level that have also said the same thing, that have come out publicly and said they're just gonna, that we as in them, burn everything down until they get their way. Not like that hasn't been happening already, right, for the last few months. Now, here's the thing. I know I kind of go down the conspiracy rabbit holes maybe a little too much. Even though I don't think that I do. I think I'm pretty objective and logical when I take on a new conspiracy. I suspect that what is happening is all part of the plan. There is, I think, some pretty credible evidence to indicate that she's probably been passed away for a while. I don't know. Even if she has been alive, she's really not been able to fulfill her duty, so why was she still in the position and not, relieved of duty? Who knows? But I do believe that what we're seeing play out was part of the plan. And I believe it's part of the plan to create just more turmoil. And, I don't know this. I don't have credible evidence to back up my theory, because it's just a theory. It's just a gut feeling that what we're seeing play out is nothing more than the things that we've seen play out so far this year. For the most part, there's a little bit of truth to it, and then the rest is just blown out of control. For instance, the virus. Is there a virus that exists? Yeah, probably. Does it deserve all the treatment that it's been getting and all the obsessed and crazy and off the wall violation of individual rights? No, none whatsoever. And so I think that what we're seeing here. I think we're seeing just another part of this game that they're playing. And I want to point something out that's, I guess, goes along with what I'm saying. And I heard this over the weekend, and I liked what the person said. A lot of times that for those of us like you and I, we get caught up on trying to pinpoint or label who it is that's doing the New World Order. Whether it's, blaming the liberals or blaming the bankers or blaming the billionaires or blaming the Catholics or blaming the Jews or blaming the Jesuits, blaming the Masons. But, I believe that in each one of those groups there's some pretty decent people. And then there's probably a lot of bad people also. Those aren't the ones that's really doing this. It's the people that are actually kind of above that. They're this cult, this kind of satanic type cult that has infiltrated all of those areas. They've infiltrated all of the governments. They've infiltrated everything. And they're the ones that I believe that are really pushing this New World Order agenda. And I believe what we're seeing is just more of it. So when I saw the news that she passed away, my initial reaction was that they're playing their game a little bit more. It just almost, to me, it confirmed, at least in some part, all the talk that I've done on here and away from camera about how I believe that everything that's playing out, at least in the last 6 to 8 months, but really for quite a while, is all part of an orchestrated plan that they believe is going to lead them down the path of total global domination. And I can, it's almost like you can see it. I mean, you can't, but you can. It's almost like you have to look beyond it. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe some of you understand what I'm saying. When you see this stuff happening, it's like if you try to look beyond it, you can kind of almost see that, yeah, I think that this would probably lead them down that path. And I think that's what we're seeing. They want to be able to get into our minds. They want to be able to control our thoughts, our lives. They want to herd us all together into, more concentrated areas so that they can have better control. I mean, it's, maybe some of you aren't on board, with this type of conspiracy theory. I don't know. But, and I understand if you're not, if you're hearing about it, you're probably thinking, man, these people are nuts thinking this. But when you've spent years of just watching this stuff happen and starting to put the pieces together, and then also seeing the stuff that they don't want you to see, seeing the stuff that kind of gets reported in the news and then they drop it and they forget about it. If you put all these pieces together, and especially with what's happening now, I have no doubt that it's all part of the plan. And even if her passing was not planned out and it was just something that happened, you know good and well that their plans include all these contingencies. Okay, well, what if this happens? Then we do this. What if this happens? Then we do that. And knowing that she was already elderly and not in good health, I'm sure even if she passed away, if it was truly just an act of God and it was random, I have no doubt that they were, they had plans in place for if that happens. And that's what we're seeing going on. Because, even the stuff that you may have seen, and I've seen a little bit of it, I've been busy the last, this week, actually. I'm going to pause just for a moment. If you guys are still watching, this week is going to be super busy, and I've here on the Homestead, and some of my videos are going to be that. So not every video this week is going to be, prepping politics, conspiracy theory stuff. But it's busy, and we've been busy today. So honestly, I haven't had a lot of time to keep up on what's going on in the news or whatever. But I still see these videos floating around of these young people, 20 years old, and they're screaming their heads off and they're crying, and it's so awful that she died and now Trump's gonna put someone in. You know, or they're angry and they're mad and they're screaming and they're cussing, using all this vulgar language because we're gonna burn this blankety blank down. We're gonna kill everybody. We're gonna burn. We're gonna storm the White House. We're gonna storm the Congress. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you see those videos. A lot of times I think those are probably staged. I think they're probably paid actors. You know, these crisis actors. Who knows? I mean, I don't have any proof of it, but either that or these people really do need to be put on some medication. And I'm never an advocate for pharmaceutical medication, but my goodness, it's crazy. And I just think it is. I think it's all part of a plan. And you know, who knows? Maybe I'm proven wrong. And if I am, I'll admit to it. But that's what I believe is playing out. And so because of that, what you and I are doing in our lives to kind of gear ourselves up, our families up for what's coming, for the path that this country and this world is taking, I think it definitely changes things, because it's not like we're dealing with some random act of nature that happens or just some terrorist attack. We're dealing with a very ruthless regime that has spent decades or even centuries planning and putting this together and getting people into office, getting people behind, you know, desks of certain corporations. It's a very that was the cat just ran right into the rubbing his self on the camera here. Sorry guys, but I mean, these people have spent a lifetime, or maybe even a few lifetimes, of planning this stuff and getting these people into power. I mean, you can go back and look at, you know, things in the UN like the Agenda 21 and stuff like that. This stuff's been around for a long time, and I think they've finally gotten to the point that they've got enough people in certain positions that they want. Get out of here. And the technology has gotten to the point that they're able to use it to manipulate us, and I think that's why we're seeing all this happen right now. And I think that really changes how we have to prepare. And we have to. We can't just give up. We can't say, man, it's too big, there's too many of them, we can't survive this. We can. I know it's going to be different, but I think that it's survivable. Somehow, we've got to make it work. We can't just give up. So, anyways, and I'm hoping to continue with some ideas on how we can survive. That's some of the stuff that I'm working on, and then I'll also be working on, we've got some heavy-duty equipment coming in here on the homestead. I'll give you that much. And so probably the next few days of videos will incorporate some of that. See, there's the cat. He's old. He's like 10, 11 years old. And incorporate what I'm doing there, and I'll try to keep you up to date on what's going on. But anyways, keep your powder dry, guys and gals. The world is changing very rapidly, and I don't think it's heading to in a good direction right now, with all the stuff that's going on, and these threats of violence. I have no doubt that they will follow through on those threats. They already have been. I guess the last couple of nights since she passed away, there's been an uptick in protests and violence. So if you live anywhere near those areas, or any areas that you think could have them, you need to get ready for them. All right, folks, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.